Go.
All right, gamers, have you ever caught yourself saying, I don't have the money? Well, I'm going to tell you how to find the money. I'll be back in 20 seconds with that answer, so make sure and stick around. Okay, welcome gamers to training day 25 of our first season together in the extraordinary game of entrepreneurship and how to play it. My name is Chris Allen-White. I am the game master, and by now you know that my role in the game is to disrupt your thinking in order to empower you to live outside your phone booth. Why? So that you can share your extraordinary with the world. Now, what the heck does living outside the phone booth have to do with anything? Well, just ask yourself the question, what would have happened had Superman never gotten out of the phone booth? Exactly. Nothing would have happened. And that, gamers, is why living outside your phone booth every day is priority number one. So if you're ready, then I'm ready. Game on. All right, gamers, have you ever caught yourself saying, I don't have any money, what can I do? You know, this is one of the most frequently asked questions I get when I'm coaching and consulting with new entrepreneurs. So here's the answer. The first step is to ask the question, why don't I have the money? And here's the answer. It's because of your thinking. Okay, remember, the biggest breakthroughs in your life will always come from your thinking. Let me give you an example. Poor people who don't have the money, they always think to themselves, if I want more money, I will do what? What would you say most poor people do when they ask themselves that question? If I don't have more money, what can I do? Poor people are going to say, well, I'm going to work harder. Okay, said another way, I'm going to trade more time for money. Now, what's the challenge with that thinking? The challenge is that time is the one thing that doesn't replenish. Guess what? Money does replenish. Okay, so here's the bottom line. Poor people only see two things when they think of currency. Okay, so let's play the currency test now to see if you are a poor thinker or a wealthy thinker. Okay, so when I ask you, what currency do you have available to you? What would you say? What is your currency? Okay, now, currency is simply an exchange of value. That'd be something that'd be really important for you to write down in your playbook. Currency is simply an exchange of value. So let me ask you the question again in a different way. What value do you have to exchange to get what you want? Okay, now if you're a poor thinker, your primary answer to that question is, I've got time and I've got money. Those are your two currencies. Those are the things of value that you have to trade, time and money. Now, the currency you primarily operate from is time and money if you're a poor thinker, okay? Likely then you're an employee if this is your mindset. Okay, chances are pretty good if you answer the question, time and money, then you're likely an employee. Because you have an employee mindset, because you think like an employee, and so that's why, quite frankly, you are an employee. Now, let's contrast that with wealthy people. Okay, ask wealthy people the same question. Okay, again, the question was, what currency do you have, or what value do you have to exchange to get what you want? Okay, here's how the wealthy thinker will answer that question, and it will be with 5 currencies. Okay, the first currency is time. The second currency is ideas. The third currency is relationships. The fourth currency is credit. And the fifth currency is money. Now think about which of those currencies replenishes. Ideas replenish. Relationships replenish. Credit replenishes. And money replenishes. Okay, wealthy people are very, very mindful of how they trade their time for money, unlike poor thinking people who only have time to trade for money. Okay, the bottom line is that wealthy thinking people know that money is just an idea. And say, let me give some examples of ideas from my business that brought me money. Okay, so here's the idea. My mentor says to me, I have an idea. What if you learned how to generate leads and ran those leads to sell my products and I paid you a commission to do that? This was the idea. Now here's the challenge. I didn't know how to generate leads. Okay, so here's idea number 2. To use credit, right? Credit's a currency. Wealthy people understand this. To use credit to pay $5,000 to learn how to generate leads so I would have a skill that would pay me for life. Okay, so the result, because I understood that credit is a currency and it's a very powerful lever to pull, I chose to use credit. And as a result, I did $183,000 in my first 12 months in my online business. Okay, so $5,000 of credit equaled $183,000 return into my business. Now, what if that $5,000 of credit only equaled $5,000 of return into my business, but I had that skill? Would that be worth it? I would argue so. Yes, it would be. Okay, let me give you another idea. My mentor says to me, what if you worked in my phone room and you learned how to prospect and close over the phone, and I paid you a commission to do that? Okay, that was the idea. Remember, ideas are currency. Okay, so here's the challenge. I was not a sales guy, nor did I consider myself a sales guy. I had no training in sales, and to be truthful with you, I was secretly frightened of the idea of selling. Okay, so here was idea number 2. My mentor said, well, what if you paid me $20,000 on a credit card so that I could train you how to do it? Again, because I understood that credit is currency, credit is a lever to pull that wealthy people use, I chose to do that. And what was the result? $120,000 generated in 4 months. That's $360,000 annualized return. Okay, so $20,000 of credit led to $360,000. Would you invest $20,000 to learn a skill that would bring you $360,000 over the course of a year, not to mention the rest of your life? Okay, if you're a wealthy-minded person, the answer would be yes. Okay, now I hear what you're saying, but Chris, I can't get credit. Okay, again, if you can't get credit, ask yourself the question, why can't you get credit? And the answer is your thinking. Okay, so instead of telling yourself, I can't get credit, why not start asking yourself, how can I get credit? Okay, now remember, money is just an idea. And so this all boils down to your thinking. Let me give you an idea. What if you had, let's say, $2,000 in your checking account, and you went down to the bank, and you said to the bank, I'd like to get a secured line of credit for $300 that I'm going to use to prove to you that I'm responsible, right? Because that's really the reason you can't get credit is because the bank or the lending agency doesn't believe you're trustworthy or you're responsible, and they don't believe they're going to get their money back when you use the credit. Okay, so you're a risk. So your idea is, how do I show the bank I'm not a risk? Well, what if you went down and got a secured line of credit? Okay, now some of you are saying credit is evil. Credit is evil. Now, if you're saying that, like I used to say that in my life, that's a way of thinking like a poor person. Okay, wealthy people know that credit is like fire, right? Credit's like fire. Fire can literally kill you, right? Just like credit could practically kill you financially if you're irresponsible, if you're undisciplined, if you don't know how to steward credit well. Just like if you're undisciplined, irresponsible, and don't know how to steward fire well, you're going to hurt yourself, okay? But fire is also very, very powerful. Could you imagine if there was no such thing as fire? If you woke up tomorrow and fire just didn't exist? This is what wealthy people think about credit. Because credit is a very powerful, powerful, powerful force when you understand how to steward it well. Okay, so let me give you one more example. Remember, as I'm giving you this example, money is just an idea. You are literally one idea away from everything changing for you. So here's my one idea. What if you created a win-win conversation? Okay, again, the challenge here is, I don't have the money. How can I get it? And I'm making the argument that money is just an idea. So here's an idea. What if you created a win-win conversation? Because you understand that relationship is currency. It's another form of currency, relationship. What if you created a win-win conversation with a relationship, somebody you have a relationship with? Okay, so if you're going to do this, the first thing you need to do is you need to create a plan to create a win-win conversation. Okay, so the first question then is, who do you know that has the money? Right? You got to figure that out first. Otherwise, you spend all this work planning, it doesn't matter. But who do you know that has the money? Now, here's the objection. I'm not going to ask someone to borrow the money. Right? This is what a lot of people say when I have this conversation with them. And I say, yeah, exactly. That's your thinking, because borrowing is a win-lose proposition. Think about that. When you're borrowing money, that's a win-lose proposition. It's how poor people think. Okay? But you're now thinking win-win. Okay? So I'm not asking you to think who will borrow you the money. That's not what I'm asking. But who do you know that has the money? Let's start there. Okay? Then you must create a win-win idea. Okay, so now a quick side note. In order for this to be effective, I just want to throw this out there. You must love yourself first. You must love yourself first. You must believe in yourself. You must believe you have what it takes. You must believe that when this money shows up, when this win-win conversation happens in this relationship that you have, this person is going to help you with the money. You must believe that you're going to use it. You're going to go out and be successful. Okay, and that all comes back to loving yourself. You know, do you feel you're worthy of someone agreeing to a win-win idea with you for your sake, so that you can do whatever you need to do in your business? Do you believe you're worthy of that? Okay, a lot of the issues we face in our lives and our business, it all comes back to our self-worth, to how much we actually love ourselves. I'm convinced that if everyone would make the decision just to develop a passionate love affair with themselves, the whole world would change. Okay, that's another conversation for another time. But it plays into this. Okay, so back to my thoughts here. Most people will freak out because they think they are asking someone to borrow money as though they are not worthy. That's why people have that knee-jerk reaction. I'm not going to ask someone to borrow money, right? I help people learn how to invest in real estate, for example, while building their own personal online economy as a laptop lifestyle entrepreneur working from home. Okay, so here's what you might say to a relationship that you're creating a win-win conversation around. You might say, let's say we're talking to John. Okay, so, hey, John, can I get your opinion on something? This is how you might open the conversation. Okay, then you might say, I recently met a really extraordinary team of real estate investors, and they're doing really well. And some of them are, only in their 20s and 30s. And they're doing really well. Okay. Now it turns out that they all got educated. They took these classes at a real estate investing program online. And their model is based on the University of Phoenix model. Now you might say that just to give perspective, right? Now I'm sharing this with you because I told you that my business is helping people become real estate investors and creating a personal online economy. So this might be a win-win conversation we would create to help people find the money if they didn't have it. Okay. So then you would continue the conversation. You would say something like, I attended an information meeting on this real estate education, and I got to tell you, it looks good to me, but I don't want to make a mistake. So could you check out what I saw, and can you tell me what you think? Okay. Now let's imagine that meeting happened. Let's imagine your relationship showed up. Your friend, mentor, whoever, spouse, not spouse, maybe brother, sister, showed up to the meeting with you, and the meeting's over, and you want to just connect with them, and you want to say, in this case, John, hey, John, what'd you think? That's it. Pretty simple. What did you think? And you just wait for an answer. Now, really, John's going to give you two general answers. Number one, he's going to say, this doesn't make any sense. He's going to say something negative, basically. If that happens, then you thank John for his time, and you go do it again with somebody else. Okay. Or John's going to say, you know what? I was really intrigued by what I saw at this meeting. Okay. Now, when John says he was really intrigued, or he was interested, or he was fascinated, something positive, okay, you're going to say something like, well, I'm glad you said that because I have a win-win idea for you. Okay. I am planning, and this is what you say. You say something like, I am planning on enrolling in the tuition, and they're going to make me choose a partner, and I want that partner to be you. Okay. Now, you don't want to say something desperate like, I want to get into this program and I need the money. That's not a win-win conversation. Okay, so stay away from desperation. Instead say, hey, I'm planning on enrolling in the tuition, You just saw that you said it was interesting. I've checked it out. I think it was interesting. And so I'm going to enroll in the program, and they're going to make me choose a partner, and I want that partner to be you. Okay? So at this point, you can start to negotiate the win-win idea with John in this case. So let's say the tuition is $10,000 for this program. So you can say, hey, John, the tuition is $10,000. If you put in $2,000, I'll take care of the other $8,000, and we can do this together. Okay, and that's just an example. Maybe, hey, John, if you put in half, I'll put in half. We can do this together. Okay, or you can say, they have a financing option that we can do if that's the case. And so if you want to join me, we can finance it together, and we can do this together. Or you could tell John, hey, we could go for free. Okay, in our program, you could say something like this. You could say we could go for free. Which one of those is of more interest to you? And then they might say, well, what do you mean for free? You say, well, they have a student loan we can get. Okay, now unfortunately, this is what you're gonna tell John. I can't get the student loan because I don't have enough cash coming in. Okay, but you can get the student loan, and I'll make the payments on the loan, and you can get the education for free. Okay, so you don't have to pay any more money since I'm making all the payments, and you get to take the education for free just for offering me the service. And then we can start doing deals together. Okay, now this is an example of a win-win conversation that people might have that are investing in real estate, but I'm sharing that with you because if you've got a different product or you're selling something different, the point is you got to create the win-win. Okay, so in our program, our people that work with us can bring someone with them, and they can get the real estate investing education for free. Okay, so that means there's some opportunity there for people that we work with to create really exciting win-win conversations. There's several different ways to have that conversation. Okay, let me give you a quick story of my business partner, Michael. He was working at a Jiffy Lube before he became a real estate investor. He didn't have credit. He didn't have any money, but he understood that relationships are currency. And so he created a win-win conversation with someone that he knew. And he basically said, hey, listen, you give me the money to invest in this tuition, I'm going to pay you back a 10% return in the next 12 months. And that was just an idea, right? Just an idea. My story, when I started to become a real estate investor, I approached a friend of mine who's now my business partner, and we decided we would split the education into the real estate investing, and then we would split everything that we made as well. Okay? So again, money's just an idea. So here are the key takeaways. You are one idea away from everything changing for you in your life. Okay? The good thing about money is that it always replenishes. It always replenishes. Wealthy people know this to be true. Wealthy people understand there are actually 5 currencies: time, ideas, relationships, credit, and money, right? Time, ideas, relationships, credit, and money. Okay, so those are the key takeaways. Here are your action steps. I want to encourage you to align yourself with wealthy thinking people. Right? It's the fastest, most effective path to rewire your thinking. You are not making the money you want simply because of your thinking. Remember, we talked about your thinking is always going to create the biggest breakthroughs for you in your business, in your life. So align with wealthy thinking people, number 1. Number 2, start a business if you haven't. Okay, entrepreneurship is the only true path left to freedom, and it's now become easier, as you can imagine, than ever to start a business online, to become an entrepreneur with little startup capital simply because of technology. It's now easier than ever. And if you're thinking to yourself, well, how do I do that? You just have proven that you have a thinking problem, not a money problem. You got a thinking problem. Okay, so here's the solution. Contact me. I'll show you how to become a real estate investor and how to create your own personal online economy. I've done 7 figures in my business from the same strategies that I'll show you. And guess what? I nearly flunked out of college on 2 separate occasions. In fact, I had less than $100 in my bank account twice. Okay. Number 3, never again tell yourself, I don't have the money. Okay, I want to encourage you to change your thinking to, how am I going to get the money? And then consider which one of those 5 currencies is the fastest, most effective path, understanding that time is the one currency that doesn't replenish. Okay, so touch that one last. Touch that one last. And then number 4, you got to tap into the power of your subconscious mind. Okay, and that's why we're so focused on having a playbook. Okay, write your challenges in your playbook before going to bed. I do this every night. I write the challenges I have in my playbook, and then I just review those real quickly for like 30 seconds. And then I put that into my subconscious mind so that when I'm sleeping, my subconscious mind can work on those challenges. Okay, so tap into the power of your subconscious mind. If you need the money, just say, what are some ideas I can implement to find the money? Okay? So, if you don't have the money, what can you do? We just answered it for you. Never say to yourself, I don't have the money. Okay, you got to eliminate that from your mindset. It's just going to sabotage your mindset. It's like poison in the mind. It's totally going to hold you back from ever finding the money. Hopefully, you can take some of these ideas I've given you today to go get the money so that you don't let money stand in the way of you achieving your dream, right? Because you really deserve more. You deserve better than what you have, especially if you're trying to build a business and you're frustrated. You deserve to be successful. Don't let money stand in your way. On that note, gamers, I'd love to hear your comments below this video. Leave your comments. Hey, like this video, and then share this video with somebody who is constantly complaining they don't have the money. Jump in, help them, save them from themselves, and help them understand that money is just an idea and that should never stand in your way of success. On that note, my friends, I will see you inside the Facebook group. Make sure to get in there and connect with us. We've got a really vibrant, thriving community of people who are just playing big in the world. And if you're not in there, you're going to want to get in there at facebook.com/groups/extraordinary game. And I'll be back tomorrow for training day 26. Wow, 26 already. On that note, gamers, go out there today, be extraordinary in your thinking, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye for now.
Thanks for listening to the extraordinary game of entrepreneurship and how to play it. And remember, gamers, if it doesn't challenge you, it won't change you. So get out of your phone booth and go share your extraordinary with the world.